Communion room. Okay. I don't know when to talk.
I have to admit, I was surprised to learn that you're the chairman of the board of directors, Your Highness.
Okay, so the board of directors is what? Elisa's mother, Eustace's brother, and Magis's father. And then he's the chairman of them.
I'd heard that the chairman was a member of the imperial family, but still.
That narrows it down quite a bit. Considering two are like kids, and the other two are imperial family that haven't been involved in anything so far.
I'm not surprised. Who would expect the infamous prodigal son to chair a committee at a prestigious academy like Thor's? I suppose it's not surprising they'd rather keep it hushed up, though. It wouldn't exactly be great for the school's image.
That's surprisingly forthright coming from you. Is it really true, though? I mean, that you were the one responsible for establishing Class 7, Your Highness?
Indeed, I was. You see, it's always been a tradition that a member of the imperial family serves as chairman of the board. At first, I wore the title in name only, but I had a change of heart after my vacation in Liberl 2 years ago.
Is that when the first game takes place? 2 years? Or not, I guess not the first game, but maybe like that series. I really don't know enough about that game to say. I've only seen bits and pieces of the first game of, I think it's Trails in the Sky.
You were in Liberl back then?
That would put your visit during the incident that occurred there, correct?
Right. All I've done since I returned to Erebonia has been inspired by my experience during the crisis in Liberl. As a result, fruitless though they may prove to be, I've set a number of plans in motion. One of which is to bring the winds of change to Thor's military academy. A gust of fresh air, if you will.
Winds of change, huh?
I can only assume you're referring to our class?
Then the one who decided to throw both commoners and nobles into the same class was...
Yes, the idea was mine. Although the selected students also had to have a high aptitude with the Arcus units too.
I think I'm finally starting to understand the reasoning behind Class 7, and why we're being sent all over Erebonia on these field studies.
To show us firsthand and give us cause to consider the conflict between the two factions. That is the purpose behind our field studies. Is it not, Your Highness?
I mean, the main root of the conflict is just pride and tradition. There's absolutely no other reason for the current standing at the social class and how things happen.
That is one of the reasons, yes. However, my foremost intention was to show you that during your lives, you will encounter many obstacles and conflicts, not just between factions, but between the capital and the provinces, tradition and technology, even between nations. In these turbulent times, I thought that this would provide the hands-on education today's promising youths need. We need up-and-comers who can think and act independently to face tomorrow's challenges head-on.
That makes sense.
Wow, that's quite a plan.
I can't help but feel a little unsure whether we can live up to such high expectations.
And considering some of the places we've been to almost killed us, you know, who cares about liability?
Hearing your explanation has, at the very least, cleared up many of the doubts I've had up to this point.
Why is Emma at the head of the table over there? It's kind of funny. I feel like a Eustace would be the one sitting there, but I guess he's sitting closest to the prince. But then shouldn't Laura be on the other side if everyone liked noble standing stuff? But whatever. I'd kind of defeat the point if that were the case, I guess.
Class 7 does seem like an ideal environment to expand one's outlook on life.
I feel like going through everything we have so far has brought us closer to doing exactly that.
Yep.
Marvelous. I'm so pleased to hear it. Just listening to you makes me feel even more certain that establishing Class 7 was the right decision. Especially since while the idea itself was mine, I have no real say in how the class is run day to day. Even so, I still hope to meet all of you at least once, if only to tell you all this. That was when Alphen stepped in and offered to set up this little meeting.
I see. Well, I could hardly refuse such a sincere request from my brother. But it also presented me a fine chance to finally meet Elise's beloved brother, as I've always wanted to. Your Highness!
Thank you for taking the time to tell us all of this, Your Highness. I feel like now that I know, I want to live up to the promise you saw in Class 7. Thing is, am I right in assuming that Class 7 doesn't exist just to fulfill your progressive ideal?
What do you...
Oh?
The board has its chairman, of course, but 3 directors besides. My older brother Rufus, Imperial Governor Karl Regnitz, and Irina Reinford of the Reinford Group.
Oh, yeah.
Now that you mention it.
They do seem to have certain expectations for us.
Precisely. As I mentioned, I no longer have anything to do with how Class 7 is run. That authority lies with the directors. As you're keenly aware, Rufus and Governor Regnitz sit on opposite sides of the factional divide. And while Chairman Irina is mostly involved with Class 7's technology, like the Arcus, her intentions are a mystery to me. And it's those 3 who decide where you'll travel for your field studies.
Is that right?
When you put it that way, it does make it seem like some kind of bargaining is taking place behind the scenes.
It was one of the conditions they gave in exchange for allowing Class 7 to be established. I'll admit, I hesitated to allow it, but I decided to place my hopes in you. We believed then, as we still do, that one day you all will be a great light that can push back the darkness of this country. Well, I suppose when I put it that way, it sounds positively heroic. But that's just me. Don't feel too pressured by it. Your students, first and foremost. Reach out and grab that fragrant rose of school life. Join a club. Eat cheap food with your friends at midnight. Fall in love. We live but once. Make your youth count.
You know, it's weird, but hearing you say that kind of takes a load off my mind.
By the way, just earlier you said that we believed the Class 7 would be a great light. Is there someone else involved with Thors who shares your vision for our class, Your Highness?
There is. Principal Van Dyke. I once attended Thors myself and studied under him. He gave my proposal to establish Class 7 his full backing.
I see.
He's been particularly considerate toward us ever since we arrived at the Academy.
While he has no direct control over the running of the Academy, he does preside over the board meetings. And above all, he's the one who assembled an excellent team to give you first-rate training.
An excellent team, you say?
Are you referring to Instructor Sarah?
She's not a team, she's a person, but yeah.
Well, she's certainly one of them. Still, coaxing her away from her former line of work certainly played a large part in giving Class 7 a great foundation. She is, after all, one of the strongest people in the Empire, and her experience makes her a natural field leader.
Wait, what?
Instructor Sarah? One of the strongest people in Erebonia?
Exactly what experience might you be referring to?
I've even heard rumors of her daring exploits myself. She was known as the Purple Lightning. Doesn't that sound exciting?
Wait, Purple Lightning?
I knew it!
If you 2 have heard of it, it must be a household name among martial artists.
Of course, Irina's gonna say he knew it. Can't be wrong ever.
It's right, though I've just heard it in passing.
Ah, that young ace of the Erebonian Bracer Guild, and one of the Empire's most famous bracers. She has a history full of brave feats and dangerous deeds. She was even the youngest bracer to achieve A-rank status. Back then, she was known as the Purple Lightning. Now, you know her simply as your homeroom teacher.
Alright. Apparently that's over. 58 hours, huh? I'm assuming we should be somewhat close to being done. Stretch. but I'm assuming we're also probably only a bit past halfway. I'm trying to remember everything from the first time I played, how much time we had left. And I'm getting blanks, so I know only one thing that's supposed to happen. Everything else is kind of... I honestly don't know. So, we'll see. The rest of this apparently is a blur in my mind. Again, the rest of the game was also, so we'll see what goes on. Thank you for seeing us out. I never would have guessed that you were friends with Princess Alphen, of all people. I wish I knew how much of what she said was genuine. Hey, Elise. Thank you for taking the time to come here today. Take care on your way back to your lodgings. We will. Thank you. Thanks for showing us around. Good night. Good night, everyone. What? Don't worry. I can kind of understand where she's coming from. You can? Look at that smug face on... Look at the smug face. Was it Elise? No, that's his brother. Oh jeez, I can't believe I forgot her name. I haven't had her in the party in a long time, so I can't remember it. Hang on. It's very similar to Elise. Oh, whatever. I doubt anyone could have guessed that Her Highness would extend such a bold invitation to you. Okay, so that's what this is about? I'm not sure how that's my fault. Okay, apparently we're having a flashback for something that happened 5 minutes ago, so sure. Yes. We couldn't have had this conversation, you know, during the whole thing. I almost forgot. Regan, I have a small favor I'd like to ask you. Of me? Your Highness? Are you going to ask him? But of course. You see, tomorrow I'll be attending the garden party sponsored by the local government for the start of the festival. Or rather, Maki's father invited me to attend. Yes, I seem to recall hearing that myself. That's the one at the Crystal Garden in Mater Park, right? Indeed. Anyway, let's not waltz around the matter. I was rather hoping that you would join me as my dance partner, Rean. Oh? Does that mean... Do you think Her Highness knows that old saying? A dance today, a wedding tomorrow? Okay, well, sure, that's good quick, you know. I'm sure that's fully in the realm of tabloid speculation. Still, there's no denying that many will interpret it that way. Well, hold on a minute. I don't think I can. I mean, it would be an honor, but it's like too great of an honor for someone like me. Oh, not at all. Your father may be a baron, but the Sworgers have long had deep ties with the imperial family. I apologize if this comes across as rude, but inviting you would likely create less opposition than if I were to invite Eustace. I see. Well, I can't deny that. You needn't apologize. I find your choice rather fascinating, actually. Eustace, you're not helping. Even Eustace can be a gremlin sometimes. Anyway, I really don't think I'm the man you want. Sometimes I can barely keep from tripping over my own feet. Sure, Green, we'll go with that excuse. Is that so? Elise once told me that she asked you to help her practice the finer points of ballroom dancing. In fact, she says you're an excellent dancer, that you step lightly and very gracefully. Is that not true, Reen? Well, well, I understand. It was rude of me to trouble you with a petition like this on such a short notice. And besides, I don't suppose you would have much interest in dancing with a little girl like me. No, that's not what I mean, Your Highness. That's my sister, alright? She really knows how to twist the knife. Your Highness, please. You too, Prince Olivert. Looks like they're having fun. I had no idea the Imperial family was such a lively and cheerful bunch. I get the feeling they aren't all like this. I see now. How could I have not... it have not crossed my mind. Okay, what are you gonna say now? Perhaps the truth is that you already have your heart set on someone else? Or is there someone you're already courting? Hmm? Oh, well, do you? I'm positively dying to know which maiden has conquered the battlefield of your heart. Ouch. Calling his heart a battlefield is kind of... I mean, I guess it is kind of... Wait, I mean... Next, how am I going to get out of this one? I'm not sure how to turn her down gently. Hehe. Very well, I shall relent this time. Huh? However, next year, I'll be 16, just like your sister. That's when I'll be making my debut into high society, so I'd be very happy if you'd give my invitation some thought. Are you mad too? Well, aren't you the lucky one? Okay, you're not mad apparently. Her Highness really seems to have taken a liking to you. Really ought to have accepted her invitation. It might have led to something truly unexpected in the future. Eustace, you just want something to laugh at. Nah, I doubt it. It seems like she just took an interest in me because I'm her friend's brother. She didn't seem all that serious about it, so I figured she was just trying to tease the two of us. Can't deny it seems that way. But I got the impression that that wasn't all that's going on there. You weren't the only one feeling nervous that whole time. Prince Olivert was an even more unusual person than I'd heard. No doubt about it. He seemed entertaining to be around. To think that he's the one who made Class 7 possible. He seemed easygoing, but hearing him talk about our class made what we're doing feel even more important. And besides, he gave us plenty of other useful information. Yeah, including the fact that the board of directors seems to have their own agenda for us. I have no idea what they're planning, but their motives seem incredibly suspicious. Agreed. I heard that the instructor's background hearing about the instructor's background kind of threw me for the loop too. I wouldn't have imagined she used to be a bracer. Why? Everything about her seems, abnormal, either bracer or a Jaeger. So it makes sense. And purple lightning kind of is exactly her attacks. So everything about that makes sense. You guys are just dumb for not realizing it. Maybe because you don't really see that around anymore to begin with. A rank is more or less the highest you can be too. I assume you already know about her history feat. Yep, the guild is every Jaeger Corps' main competition. After all, probably even ran into her a few times during our operations. Really? Unbelievable. I'd almost forgotten about those good old days. Here she is. Somehow here as soon as we're done. Or she was sitting out there the whole time. Instructor? How long have you been there? So it looks like you finally found out about my work history, huh? I guess that kind of tarnishes my ravishing adult charm a bit, then. I hate to break it to you, but you didn't have any of that to begin with. Shh. Did you hear an old maid sigh? What was that? Hee hee. Good evening, everyone. You're here too, Captain Claire? This is quite the unusual combination. Is it that unusual? I feel like we've seen them around together a lot recently. Let me be the first to assure you that this wasn't my idea. But the governor has asked me to tell you that tomorrow's field study, where did I get battle from, is being put on hold, okay? Instead, you get the exciting opportunity to help this lady and her goons with their evil schemes. Huh? What evil schemes? Sarah, could you maybe not try to put them off entirely before I've even had the chance to explain? Actually, there is a matter I'd like all of you to help us with. I've discussed this with the governor, and he decided that this would be the best way to handle the issue. Alright, we're being arrested. Alright. Now, if you'd be so kind as to get on board, I'll explain everything to you at the command post in Heimdall Central Station. You'll never take me alive. Okay. Either I'm dead or they took me alive. Paris? Oh, jeez. Way to start our conversation, Magius. Indeed, I'm afraid we have no choice but to define them as such. Unfortunately, we have no clue as to their aim, nor do we know the means of the group's members, its size, or its history. At present, it doesn't even seem that the terrorist group has established a name for itself. That's a lot of unknowns. Would I be correct in assuming the man we met in the Nord Highlands who was trying to start a war is a member? Ah. The guy who looks like he lives in his mother's basement and buys figures. So he's one of them, He said his name was Gideon, or G or something like that. So that's what the man you encountered in the Highlands was up to. He does sound like a terrorist type. There's apparently a type like that. And you think he and his group are going to try something tomorrow, on the first day of the summer festival? We're currently operating under that suspicion, yes. The summer festival lasts 3 days, but unlike festivals in other provinces, only the first day garners much attention. It's been a month since the incident in Nord. If they intend to make their next move soon, tomorrow is a likely time. I'd have to agree. Terrorists do love their time in the spotlight after all, and considering how easily Gideon gave his name, I'm betting we'll start to see them acting more openly soon. First you gather arms and other like-minded allies in secret, then you reveal yourself with a bang and keep going in quick succession. That's the typical terrorist MO. I see. And you want us to assist with countermeasures against them? Sure, make a bunch of high schoolers deal with terrorists. Yeah, that's a great idea. Alright, the RMP will be joining forces with the Heimdall Military Police to bolster the capital's security. Unfortunately, as big as the capital is, I can't say with complete confidence that there'll be no holes in our security. That's where you come in. You'll be assisting our security measures as a reserve force. It'd sure be nice if the guild was still active here. They would have come in mighty handy right about now. Yes, I don't disagree. Sarah, you do know that the RMP had no involvement in the guild's withdrawal from the capital, right? Okay, so something happened there. Oh, really? I mean, your boss and that brother of yours could hardly make their opposition to the guild more obvious if they tried. Well, these two really seem to have a messy history between them. It sure looks that way, especially where the guild is concerned. Although, it sounds like your brother has been keeping busy in Crossbell recently. So, what's it gonna be? Whether you choose this as your field study task for tomorrow is totally up to you. If you decline, there are plenty of tasks the governor needs taken care of, like you've been doing the last 2 days. Summer festival is a busy time, after all. Lots of little details that need to be squared away. I think I speak for Group A when I say we'd be glad to join in with the anti-terrorist countermeasures. Group B feels the same. Alright then. Thank you for your assistance, everyone. Now let's move right along to confirm the patrol routes you'll be following. Okay, I feel like this is now coming up to the thing I've been trying to do since I first started. There's one thing I remember about this place. But, you know, we'll see. Wow, this place sure brings back memories. Up until about 1.5 years ago, I'd swing by here at least once a week. Really? I wouldn't be surprised if I'd seen you around before then. Well, I did end up getting to know your sister. Okay. Fiona, right? Works as a piano teacher. Seriously? Wait, she did say she knew someone who worked at the guild. I guess she was talking about the instructor. Still, instructor, what is it that caused the guild to withdraw from the capital? I've been wondering that for a while now myself. The guild used to be pretty active here in Erebonia, right? Well, yeah. The direct cause was guild branches all over the country being blown up. Oh, jeez. But I'm sure you already know that. The culprits were a Jaeger corps hired by a nasty bunch the guild was at odds with at the time. Well, still is, but anyway. Thanks to a dependable ally, we were able to defeat the Jaegers, but by then the Imperial government had its eyes on us. They started making life difficult for us, taking away most of the guild's authority in the country, leaving our hands tied. Eventually, the branches here started closing one by one, with no real protest or prospect of ever reopening. Jeez. That doesn't sound suspicious at all. So that's how it was. Instructor? Don't worry. Your dad might be the city's governor, but he wasn't really involved. A certain friend of his, however, was very involved. You're talking about Chancellor Gileath Osborne, representative of the Imperial government, I assume? Yep, him and his cronies in the Imperial Intelligence Division. It's kind of like a sister organization to the Railway Military Police. Anyway, after that, I was out of a job. That's when Principal Van Dyke came and offered me a position at the academy. I started as a combat instructor last spring, and after that, I wound up being chosen as your class's homeroom teacher. I still help out the guild from time to time, though. That's how I ended up bringing in our Jaeger princess here. Knock it off. Okay, that was a weird interaction right there. So that's what happened. You mentioned that a Jaeger Corps was responsible for the attacks. What was its name? Oh, it wasn't the same group Fee used to run with. They were called Jester, not a particular high-ranking outfit. I see. Worried about me? Well, I did suspect that it was likely a different corp. From the sound of it, the Jaeger Corp Fee belongs to was a pretty large one, though. Oh, definitely. She was with Zypher. Their leader was this insidious guy known as the Jaeger King. You name a combat specialty, Zypher had it covered. They were the only corp on par with the Red Constellation, which has its roots in the Berserkers of the Middle Ages. They caused me plenty of trouble back when I was still a full-time bracer. Look who's talking, you caused us plenty of trouble yourself. It's hard to believe this all happened to people we actually know. Yeah, sounds like a story out of some novel. Funny, right? Anyway, the terrorists you've been hearing about lately aren't part of any Jaeger Corp. I figured that was the case. Generally, Jaegers are interested in just two things, money and fighting. That Gideon guy you encountered in the Nord Highlands doesn't seem to fit that description, though. If I had to guess, he says he's actually some kind of deep-seated... Yeah, he says he's acting on some kind of deep-seated grudge. A grudge, huh? Well, it's hard to say anything for sure. I never met him myself. From what I understand, he did seem particularly tenacious. He was definitely that, which means we're really going to have to step it up for our patrols tomorrow. Your involvement is just a precautionary step, but if you're going to help, give it your best, I say. Seems like your teamwork is smoother than ever, too. All for the better. Stretch. Anyway, it's late, so get your report written and get some sleep. I'm gonna crash in one of the empty rooms upstairs. Is there an empty room? There's only 2 rooms. Ah. Okay. The instructor never changes, does she? You sure? She seemed more talkative than usual. Feels like she was pushing herself. Now that you mention it, she did seem far more forthcoming with information than usual. Maybe she's feeling a bit weird being back in her old workplace. You might be right. Still, I guess we're not really in any position to be worrying about her. We'll just have to do our best to coordinate with Group B tomorrow to make sure everything goes smoothly. I agreed. Jeez. Alright, the sooner we get that report written, the sooner we can get some sleep. I hope I didn't miss anything.
Keep up the good work.
Hey y'all, I hope you enjoyed that. If you like what you saw, you can watch me live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Luminiferous Quack. If you want to see these videos, of course you can see me on YouTube with Luminiferous Quack on YouTube. And you can see, if you want to get notifications for when my videos come out or when I stream on Twitch, you can follow me on Twitter or X at LuminiferousQ. I hope to see you guys there. Have a good one. Please subscribe and like the video. It really helps me out. Bye bye.